Hello everybody and welcome back to Thunderstorm. With me, as always, is Rin,
Howdy.
Kaznarius,
The
Pork Chopper, and our nameless guest.
Hey, I got paid by the hour, so let's keep the pauses as long as possible.
And this week, we have a choice. Good versus evil. Cake versus pie. Final Fantasy versus Dragon Quest. I'm talking about games with choices. Kaz, care to start us off?
Yeah. Man, isn't it great to live in a world with all these choices? It's not like choice fatigue or decision fatigue is like a thing that is constantly plaguing our everyday life. It's not like I need more stress going into a fucking video game that I get on a daily goddamn basis. But to elaborate on that, the idea here is choices, both from a narrative perspective and from a gameplay perspective. I want to hear all about all these choices in your video games, and I guess I could start us off, but I would also like to ask everyone a question, a big question, before we get into like big narrative decisions. I want to know what everyone's the most important choice of all. What everyone's first starter Pokemon was.
Oh.
Kaz, I'm gonna have to tell you, and I'm gonna date myself here on when I ended up really owning my first Pokemon game. But I started with the Turtwig, because Turtwig was based.
Between the three, not bad, I'll say.
I'm not a big fan of the
Actually.
I'm not a big fan of the Gen 4 starters, but I would say Turtwig is decent among them.
Mm-hmm.
I think I went with Charmander, I believe.
Okay, just go. Please leave.
You're done. Bye bye.
Highly appreciate it.
I'm gonna presume we're not talking about like Pokemon Yellow in this, so I think
Yeah.
my first starter was Cyndaquil.
And mine was Totodile. And I love that bastard incredibly. So
Mine is also Cyndaquil. I started with Silver personally.
Same. Silver Bros for life.
Silver's so cool.
Look, you know, I'm okay with you guys shitting on me for owning gold and being all about gold, but at least nobody here is a Chikorita apologist.
Excuse me?
Chikorita apologist the
Kaz,
worst.
you can go fuck yourself. Because my first time playing Pokemon Gourd, I chose Chikorita.
Pokemon Gourd. Pokemon Gourd and Pokemon Squash.
Of course.
Nah, Chikorita kind of sucks. It's a really, I don't know, the whole line is really boring, I want to say, design-wise, and it's just, in terms of actual gameplay, it's total trash.
For the record, like, I don't hate this Pokemon because it, I don't know, it's just incredibly basic looking and just has, like, the worst fucking moves out of all of them, or, like, the worst typing out of all of them. I hate it because, you know, it feels like out of the three, they, like, gave them the least amount of effort into it stat-wise. Like, stat-wise and just design-wise, I just really don't like that fucking thing. When I was a kid playing Pokemon Coliseum, I didn't realize that you could pick anything other than Bayleaf, and Bayleaf would fuck my entire run of Pokemon Coliseum every single time. I fucking hate that Pokemon. Fuck you, Ash. Pick a better fucking grass type. All right. Let's talk about some narrative choices.
And Super Mario Bros. You have the choice not to jump on the Goomba at the start of the game,
perfect.
and you can just fucking die.
Like, that was my joke. I said that when we were talking about this.
I've stolen it. I made the choice.
I also stole that joke, though.
I'm gonna choose to ignore both of you and ask everyone the question. What was the first game that you played with a bad ending?
Oh, that is a good question. I actually
Really think about this one. If anyone can't produce an answer immediately, I can start with this one.
I got one.
Okay.
I got one.
Then Rin, go for it.
The first one that I can remember having a bad ending would be Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. There are a couple places where you can just instantly game over, and at the end of the game, spoilers for Paper Mario Thousand Year Door.
Oh no!
Oh no! You have the choice to join the villain, and you can just take it, and you just instantly game over.
Epic.
And that is technically a bad end. That's the first one I could think of. I'm sure there are other games that I played up to that point that technically had bad endings, but that's the first that I remember.
The first one I remember is this little game for the DS that I don't think anyone here has ever heard of called Lost Magic. It was a touchscreen RTS where you would control you and your little monsters, and you would also like cast spells by like drawing runes. And it was a bit clunky at first, but I remember having a lot of fun with it as a kid. And there's a choice midway through the game that you're fighting the evil bad witch. You can either and it's like, oh man, she's got your friend, and you can either, and she's like, and you have like the fucking super rod of power, and she's like, give me the rod of power, your friend dies, and you can either give her the rod of power and like go on the good ending route, which is like 7 missions away from there, or keep the rod of power and go on the bad ending route. And it ended up being some real fucking grimdark shit. In the bad ending route, like up to this point, you've like fought like multiple different sages with like different elemental powers and shit, and like gained their trust, and they like accepted you as like, you know, the guy who would bring peace to this world or whatever the fuck. And in the bad ending route, you just like you sort of become like, I guess one way to like say it is like the Majin version of yourself. You kind of just get overrun with like negative emotions, and you just sequentially fucking murder all of your friends. And this is a fucking E for everyone kids game. Yeah. And these evil routes, like, they had completely different map layouts and like were actually more difficult than the actual like normal routes and maps that you would fight them on. And I always thought that was just like really cool as a kid, that like they had so much like this fork in gameplay, these forking paths had like almost like pretty differing gameplay elements to them, and obviously story beats. Mind you, the bad ending isn't really like that much interesting past holy fuck, this is like, how fucked up is it that I'm killing all my fucking friends? But yeah, lasting impact for sure.
Let's see. I have never. I don't think I've ever heard of that game. I have nothing to comment on it outside of killing your friends. Sounds pretty based.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was
honestly
not.
I'm not sure why you're calling that the bad end.
It's not as base as you think. Your sprite becomes like, I don't know. The character sprite becomes pretty weirdly dark, and like it's got like this weird creepy evil smile. At least I thought it was creepy as a kid. Now as an adult, I'm like, okay, this looks kind of derpy actually. Looks kind of lame. But yeah. Next game, somebody else, please. Good God.
I can't think of the first one that I had that had a bad ending, personally. I honestly... No, I have nothing. on that front.
Then how about a multiple? How about a differing ending?
That's just as difficult for me to answer because, like, dude, I've been playing games for almost 30 years. Like, it's so hard for me to think back.
Think back. That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, how about Mass Effect?
I mean, yeah, I can talk. We can talk about Mass Effect. That's not the first one. That's what you were asking.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Okay, fine. We're moving on. Who's played Mass Effect?
Probably everyone here.
Not me actually.
Not me.
What?
Yeah, welcome to this friend where no one plays anything and they all suck.
What are you guys doing with your
We're the
lives?
most qualified people to talk about video games. I don't even know what a controller is.
Oh my god, you guys! You know what? This is good. The Legendary Edition's coming out. You guys need to play it.
Yeah.
I wish listed it.
Lol, what's the Commander Shepard?
Oh, good.
A
Disgusting.
backstabbing piece of shit who killed Ghost.
It.
I thought that was Captain
If you make
Price.
what? Oh wait, no, he's right. Wait, no, that was General Shepard or some shit. Whatever the fuck his name was, I don't know.
Who cares? It's not a game with choice, so we don't talk about that here. The Mass Effect games they're pretty good with the choice stuff up until like the last 10 minutes, where it throws everything out the window kind of thing.
Yeah, with the exception of the ending, yeah, they're pretty great as far as choices go.
Yeah, I played the second. So I never really played Mass Effect 1. I played Mass Effect 2, and I got it on PS3, which came with the comic thing where you got to make the choices from the first game.
Oh yeah.
Genesis or some shit like that.
Yeah, so I got to make the choices from the first games, so I was allowed pretty much the full experience without playing the first game. And it's hard for me to go back and play the first game now. I've tried. It's
Yeah, the
kind of
gameplay's so
janky.
different.
Yeah, it's not. I couldn't stand it for a bit there. But no, it's really good because I remember I saved the Arachnite Queen in the first thing and then in 3 there is a mission where she shows up. Although I think they kind of fucked that up because if you killed the Arachnite Queen in the third game, you just find a new one. And it's the exact same mission because they were too lazy to come up with diverging missions.
I mean, yeah.
But there are some really great moments throughout that series of choices. Actually, especially in the third game, because the third game is where a lot of accumulation happens, where the really major stuff, the decisions with the Geth and decisions with the Genophage happen. I actually really like Mass Effect 3 outside of the last 10 minutes and the fact that the game is kind of easy, but
I'd agree with that. In terms of the emotional impact and seeing how a lot of your choices are kind of affecting everything, Mass Effect 3 is really fucking good for that.
well, now I have to ask you, Pork Chopper, who'd you fuck? The most important choice.
Ashley in 1.
Get the fuck out.
In 2, I believe it was Tally,
Respect.
right?
Okay.
And then I think in the third game, I think it was also Tally or some shit.
Respectable.
I went with Tally both games. Most people, I think that's generally one of the most popular choices on that front.
Dude, everybody wanted to see what's under that suit.
Oh, I'm really disappointed by what's actually underneath that suit.
I never played the director's cut, so I don't remember seeing it.
Oh, okay. So what they did?
No, don't tell me. I'm still gonna play it.
Oh, no. She never takes off the mask for future
fuck's
reference.
sake.
After you have the romance scene,
Don't dream
there
it's over.
is a picture of her next to your bed without
the
the
same.
helmet. Yeah, no, they never modeled her face. They've never modeled the Quarian face, and it's super
fucking
disappointing.
director's cut that's supposed to fix this shit. And they.
I believe that was actually in the base game. I believe that was in the base game, the picture. Maybe they modeled it in the director's cut, but I don't think they did.
Maybe I
It was
just
in the
didn't
base
even
game. I heard
remember.
about that.
They had a choice and they didn't take it.
It was bad.
Quick-
You just-
I got a quick question for you, by the way. Did you punch the reporter, and how many times did you do it?
I do think I punch her every time. I kind of forget.
Well, that is the
Okay,
Paragon option.
Well,
so,
no, it's not the Paragon.
That's definitely
No,
not
no, no,
fair.
no, no. Trust me, I've got footage from my latest review to back that up.
I think the first time I was going through the game, I just did all Paragon stuff, so I didn't punch her the first time through. But like every other time, I just punch her because it's funny.
I punched her every time, which was hilarious because in 3 she tries to fucking
Yeah.
like duck down and hit you and just fuck her up again.
Yeah, no, that's pretty great. God,
She had the classic tactic of move like a butterfly, get punched like a butterfly.
Yeah, she's like, not this time. Proceeds to get fucked up.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. I did look up what everyone was talking about for games with choices that they really liked, and a lot of people said Witcher 3. That's like the big one. It's like Witcher 2 and 3 are like huge games where like choice really matters, especially in those little side quests.
Okay, so
yeah, like the Red Baron, for example, is a really big one.
yeah, Red Baron has a lot.
I completely
I
forgot
played
that was
that.
a thing.
Okay, so I will say, so Witcher 2, I never beat Witcher 2 because I found its gameplay a little off and I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I have heard a lot about it. And I know that very early on, I think like in the first chapter or something, like after the prologue, you make a choice between going with, I think it's Roach or Ivern, I don't know his name. And that
Is it
changes.
Roach the horse?
It's another guy named Roach.
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
It's dumb, and that like changes the game completely. Like they're totally separate routes. They're very different, and
Really?
that happens in like chapter 1. You go to the same areas, but you end up on like different sides. Like at one point, there's like a war going on, and you will end up in like, I don't know, the camp on the left side of the map if you go on one, and the camp on the right side of the map if you go on the other. And there's fairly different storylines. They kind of resolve in similar ways, I believe, but there are still massive differences between them.
That's pretty cool.
And then basically none of those choices really matter come the third game, because they just were like, a lot of people are going to start with this one, so they just didn't really include too much from the other ones. They were there are choices and holdovers, but you can easily play the third game one without playing the second one, and you will not feel like you're missing anything.
I was gonna say the next thing, but I was wondering if Ren had anything else, had any fucking choice things to talk about.
I was gonna stay with The Witcher 3 for a minute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, do that.
So, did he kill the kids or not?
In the Red Baron quest.
Of course.
Are you talking about releasing the horse?
Yes. I can't remember.
You're
been
no,
like
hold
5
on a
years.
second. You're talking about the witches in the bog?
Oh god, I am talking about the fucking hags.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, those two quests were just like right next to each other, so like they're
They
together
were,
in
yeah.
I did them
mind.
kind of at the same time.
Sliver, they're the same quest line essentially.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
merge eventually, so
I don't remember killing the kids. I don't think I did.
yeah, you don't like directly kill the kids to my knowledge. You have a choice to release like some weird ancient evil and it will save the kids but kill a town.
Mhm.
Or you can kill it and the witches will still kill the kids like they were always going to do, but the town is safe.
Mhm.
The train puzzle.
Yeah. Well, it was a choice with no real solution. No matter what happened, something evil was gonna go on. Geralt even mentions this.
Mm-hmm.
I always release the horse because he's a beautiful horse and he deserves to be free. Also, fuck that town. They were mean to me, I think.
They
Oh,
definitely were.
yeah, that town of fucking beggars and shit who were just like fucking dirty as fuck and being dipshits to me the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they deserve to live.
Oh, fuck the town. This is the one time I would allow the kids to live.
You heard it here. Kaz hates dirty poor people.
Yeah, I think again, it's been a while, and I didn't play much of that game, but I'm pretty damn sure I saved the damn kids.
Yeah,
What would Anakin say if he heard you now?
very
He'd
appalled.
probably be
truly.
disappointed.
You underestimate my power.
I'll do a flip. That's a neat trick.
Okay, we're gonna stop quoting Star Wars. But yeah, no, that's like an early quest. It's like in the first chapter, basically. That like there's a lot of outcomes you can get with it. Generally speaking, I think I saved the Baron's wife, and I saved the kids. But there's other ways of doing it because the Baron's kind of an asshole, and he doesn't necessarily deserve to have that back. So
No. You need to clarify. The Baron is not only an asshole. The Baron is also a cuckold asshole. Not my words, his own.
awesome.
I'm just making sure we have all our ducks in a row. We are
Congrats.
saving a cuck.
There's other choices later which are like interesting. So there's like a town that's like persecuting mages. It's like the big major city of the game, Novigrad. It's persecuting mages, and you can save all the wizards and witches. You can get them out. But if you do that, the like religious orders just starts murdering all the non-humans, like elves and dwarves, because they need something to punish for being unclean or something. Because they're a really fucked up religious sect. And that, like, I'm not really sure how much impact that really has in a lot of places, because, like, you'll come back to that city and your dwarf friend is still living there. Like, he's not really scared of the fact that he's gonna die because people are burning dwarves and elves on a stake. But, you know, whatever. It's still neat narratively that there is that huge thing, you know.
But how do
The
you
trolley
tell
problem,
the difference?
yeah.
How do you tell the difference between a dwarf and someone who's just short? Guaranteed, like a short person definitely got fucking lynched during that.
Well, yeah, it's not like they're sitting there. Is this guy actually a dwarf? No, they're just fucking mowing them down.
Yeah, mobs aren't known for their rationality.
Yeah.
Oh boy, an angry mob.
That feel when the average height is 6 feet and you're 5'7".
Ah,
Kill the dwarf.
So wait, so I finished Witcher 3. Who here actually did finish it?
I did not.
I did not.
Okay, so I'm the only one who
Wah,
finished
wah,
it.
wah.
And I got the best ending. Perfect. Ciri lived at the end, she was Empress at the end, it was great. And Geralt was with Yen, the only choice.
High key, though.
Yeah,
High
high
key,
key.
though. Fuck
Triss.
Triss. Fuck Triss, that fucking lying cunt.
Is kind of an asshole.
Is Yennefer? Is that the one with the black hair?
No. Yennefer's the hot one.
Just
Yeah, with the black hair.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Did I stutter? Yeah. I do love choices like that where it's like, yeah, I probably did the right thing, but man, at what cost?
Yeah, no, there's
Just how far does the trolley go?
no choice in Witcher 3 seems to have like an objectively like, yeah, this is the best, except for the actual ending choices. Because like if you so like there's multiple conversations you have with Ciri at the end. And depending on what you do, she'll either die or Geralt will die, depending on like I think I chose all the correct ones because both Ciri and Geralt were alive at the end for me. But like I remember there's one where like the correct choice, the one that will lead her and Geralt to living, is to have a snowball fight to deal with stress, and the other choice is to get drunk, and that's the bad choice. And it's like objectively bad. Like you won't get any good thing from getting drunk with her. It will push your like. I looked it up later as to how it works. It will push her like score down, and if it gets too low, then they die or something in the end.
Huh.
So, like, generally speaking, I found the choices were pretty good in that, you know, they had a gray area to them.
Yeah.
And both sides generally had like some rational argument to it, I guess. But the ending stuff, it's just straight. Some of these are better than others. It's either you're a good dad or you're a bad dad, and there's no in between. Which is a little unfortunate, but whatever.
I mean, at least the road there was pretty fun. I'm sure Witcher
yeah.
3 as a whole is a pretty damn good game.
Witcher 3 is a really good game that I spent a lot of time in, despite the fact that like I got bored of the combat fairly quickly.
Yeah, that was kind of my only problem, was that the combat could have had a little more depth and shit to it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could have put the difficulty up even more, but I think that would just made me more frustrated than having fun. Like, that combat needed a bit more work put into it. And I played it long after release when it had been patched, like, fully. I know at launch it was actually kind of a bit of a mess at points.
Yeah,
What
just-
difficulties did you guys play?
Harp of the Courts.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I played on whatever the game was basically told me was normal at first, and then I moved it up one.
Oh, okay, so you're finishing with Blood and Broken Bones.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, that's the one I chose.
Yeah, I normally, like, whenever I start a game, the main choice of difficulty at the beginning of every game, I generally go with whatever says normal.
Yeah,
And then I may move it up or down. Well, I generally only move it up. I rarely go down, depending on, how I feel.
yeah, the only reason I chose Blood and Broken Bones as my default difficulty was that the one below it had you heal when you waited. I'm like, you know what? No. None of this waiting and I heal kind of thing. Like, I got injured, I have to, like, do something to heal myself this time.
It barely mattered in the end, actually.
I know, but still.
Alright, gents. I want to talk about the Banner Saga. So, the Banner Saga 1, first of all, it's an amazing game. Amazing strat RPG. You should play it and the rest of the series. Whatever. By the end of the first game, you're getting chased by this army of weird stone knight people, basically called the Dredge. That's a whole other thing, and they've got this Dredge champion called Bellower, and Bellower is, by all accounts, literally invincible. He cannot be killed, but your main thing, your last Hail Mary is to fire an arrow at him that will make him think he can feel pain. It's a big trick. It's a big ruse. And you essentially, throughout the game, have this caravan of people that you lead to different destinations, and you collect more people, whatever. And it's Rook. You play as Rook, and he, like, leads the caravan, and his daughter, Olette. And when you get this arrow, Olette says to Rook, like, let me shoot this arrow. I want to be the guy. Trust me, Dad. I can do this. They're father and daughter. I don't know if I mentioned that. And then you can either choose to have Olette fire the arrow, or say, no, Olette, I'm going to fire this fucking arrow. This is the fucking fate of the world. I'm a fucking cool-ass hunter. Anyway, so
I think I know
whoever
which one Cass chose.
So whoever fires the arrow dies, is the thing. Bellower gets rused and immediately murders the fuck out of whoever fired that arrow. Now, this is really interesting because then and then the final fight is Bellower, who thinks he's invincible. And then, in the next game, you play as either Olette, having to fucking scrounge up this fucking caravan that, like, will not respect her because she's a fucking little girl, and, like, having to, like, deal with, like, the memory of her dead father, like, not trusting her with this arrow. Or you're dealing with, like, Rook, who has to, like, deal with this caravan of people that are constantly at the seam, like, bursting at the seams and, like, fighting each other, and, like, has to get over the memory of his dead daughter. it feels really cool going through both of these playthroughs. And wow, that's not the only character. Like, it's not. It does have to homogenize on the second game at points, because, like, holy fuck, doing an entire game, completely changing the dialogue for the entire game. Like, you'll just switch to another caravan that has like its own thing, no matter what route you choose. But I just thought that was like so fucking cool that you can just play an entirely different campaign based on that. And then that's like the main big choice in the Banner Saga, but they're just amazing games overall. And by the end of it, I would say, unlike The Witcher 3, in the third game, which I will not spoil, but I'll be vague, little choices actually end up mattering quite a bit. There was shit mentioned that I completely forgot that happened at like the beginning of the game, that they were like, yeah, that happened. And I'm like, oh fuck, that happened. And now that's actually kind of relevant. And that was like really interesting, having the developers make a story that would very occasionally remind me of the consequences of my actions. I love those fucking games. Yeah. Play the Banner Saga, fuckers.
Alright. Now, Rin, care to take us on a tangent of your own?
I do have a bit of a tangent, going from two medieval worlds that have some pretty good amount of choices that end up meaning something in the end. Let's talk about a less stellar implementation of choices. Let's talk about Skyrim.
Nice.
Oh boy, I love Skyrim.
Mess, shitty game. Skyrim sucks. Broken mess.
Now, I will acknowledge that there are a lot of choices you can make that end up impacting a singular quest line or something. And obviously, like, you have to make decisions to join the different guilds and do those quests and stuff. And I guess those sort of have an impact on the world in the sense that, like, there are certain characters you won't be able to talk to anymore. But with Skyrim in particular, like, anything that's important for the main story quest, you can't hurt them. You can't, like, they might dislike you, but they'll still interact the same way with you during the main story quests.
Shit like that takes me fucking way out of the game.
Yeah, or like someone will, like, they'll be walking by you and they'll say like they hate your guts, and then they'll say, "What a pleasant day it is." Hey, friend.
What was it?
Consistency is an issue.
Skyrim. There's always that one thing where, like, you're literally in charge of the entire College of Winterhold. You're like a master mage, despite the fact that you know one spell. And the random guards on the street will say, "Hey, you using magic? Maybe you should check out the College of Winterhold." And I'm like, I'm in charge of it. I made the decision to go and do that. You should acknowledge that on some level, you stupid piece of shit.
And what is weird is that, like, the main story you don't have a whole lot of impact on. There is one place where there is quite a bit of impact, though, and it's the war storyline.
Oh, yes.
Where you pick your side in the war, and, like, you have a direct impact on, like, who ends up running these cities, and you have a direct impact. It doesn't really change anything for the most part. It might change some, like, interactions and stuff, and some people might not be there anymore, but that is, like, it's kind of weird that there are certain points where, like, you see that it understands that, like, your choices should have it should have a reaction. It's kind of frustrating that the main story doesn't really have that as much.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. The part where I said a big no on Skyrim was when I decided to go magic in left hand, axe in right hand, and then my friend was like, "No, you can't do that. You can't play the game that way. You absolutely have to go double magic or double fucking axes, or an axe and a sword, or heavy weapon. You cannot double class like that." it's not good for you. And I'm like, but I want to play the game like this.
Well,
like,
technically
no,
you can.
I don't know. It's
No, it's all you have to do to appease that kind of person is just use conjure weapon. That way you're technically dual wielding magic and weapons.
man,
That's
melee
a
fucking
different
suck balls anyway. Though that's
Melee's
like
that's
it's
the reason
fucking-
everyone's a stealth archer.
fucking Skyrim. Yeah.
I tried to like do a playthrough where I got into the role of like I tried to like really get into the mindset of I'm not going to use any magic. I'm not going to do stealth archer. I'm just going to be like hyper aggressive, attack everything. It is a terrible way to play that game.
Shaking cam.
Have
Shaking
some
cam.
cheese. Have some cheese.
And then sometimes like you'll just walk into a room and become a corpse. Like, because some enemy will be in the corner of your eye and they'll get a lucky shot that crits you and you just instantly fall over like a sack of potatoes.
I would be interested to try Skyrim in VR.
I have.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's you can kind of tell that it wasn't built for VR. It's a little
Yeah.
janky, but it is really cool. Like the immersion's great.
I do want to get a VR headset one of these days. Too expensive. Fuck.
Yeah.
Well, that's your choice.
Yeah. Well, so Kaz, does that mean you're gonna buy me a Valve Index with like
No.
four room monitor thingamajigs?
No.
Shove that
not
in your
because-
trolley car and kill the fat man. Yeah, I don't know. Not for me, but a lot of people. That's funny that you say that because a lot of people hail Skyrim as this, all your choices matter kind of game.
And some of them do. It's just it doesn't impact like the main quest line. There isn't no real impact that is really had there.
Yeah,
It's kind of-
they matter on paper, but they don't really make a tangible difference that you can see and feel.
I
Yeah,
forget.
like once you finish the quest in particular, like the story, the world does not really change.
Yeah, you might have like one less shopkeeper or something.
Yeah, outside of maybe the war one, I never finished the war quest line. I did like the major like guilds, like Thieves Guild and Warriors and stuff, but I never
the war
did the war.
storyline was fun.
Some of the
It,
Jarls will get shuffled around.
Yeah, they'll get shuffled around because like they're aligned with either the Imperials or the Stormcloaks, and yeah.
You have some pretty terrible people in some cases that become Jarls.
I don't know where Jarl fucking Bulgraf fucking disappeared off to. Like he's my Dragon's Reach Jarl. Let's be real here. Best Jarl in the game. First one.
They should have let you implement a system where you can just put anyone as a Jarl to take over. So I could put that one like mage cat guy that just wanted to destroy stuff. And you just
All right,
put
gentlemen.
Falcor in charge of every city.
Kashitas wares if you have coin.
I think we've give Todd enough of our shill points today.
Oh, let's talk about New Vegas next, and then Morrowind. They're actually both better examples than Skyrim. Morrowind.
They actually are. Yeah.
Literally everything you do has direct consequences to the point you can break your save file. And
Oh yeah, this character has died, and that fucking message, the fate.
with this character's death, the thread of prophecy is severed. Restore a saved game to restore the weave of fate, or persist in the doomed world that you have created.
Man, imagine word of God. You just hear it in your brain. Restore your last save, bro.
You fucked up.
What's up?
You fucked up. You fucked up.
Except you
Wait.
really didn't, because canonically you
saving?
can save game. Yeah, life is saving. Do you not save?
I guess
Do you
that's
never
just-
save up money to buy another copy of Skyrim?
All the time.
No, I'll
There you go.
just go into crippling debt to give Todd my money.
But that's not
Valid
your
option.
money.
You're right. It's Todd's money.
Anyway, this joke sucks.
Facts zone.
And it's our choice to end it.
Yeah,
No.
ending it. We mentioned New Vegas, but I never really played any of the Fallout games particularly long. I for some reason can never get into them.
Sam.
I haven't been able to get into any of them except for New Vegas, and sadly, I got most of the way through, but I suffered a pretty game-breaking bug where every time I used bullet time, the entire game would basically just become unplayable. It was a huge issue, and I could never fix it, and that was the end of my playthrough because it was just unplayable after that point.
Yeah, my save file just got corrupted, and I didn't want to restart the entire game.
Okay, so we're not talking about New Vegas. Moving on.
The choices are more important than Skyrim. Moving on.
Truly, I do know that. I have heard it has some good dialogue and interesting choices throughout it, but I don't have experience in it, so I don't know.
I just wish I could get past the fucking jank ass combat in both these games. I don't know why. I just always get a bad feeling whenever I play a Bethesda game.
I guess you could just turn the difficulty to nothing and enjoy the exploration and
Sure.
story, but I don't know if it's all that worth it.
So, boys, pussy bitch boy ice fucking powers Cole, or cool fire flame man Cole?
Oh, both of them were kind of cool, man.
Yeah.
They were. I went ice my first playthrough.
Everyone went ice their first playthrough. It's the good guy option.
That's the good boy.
If you look at like statistics for games, about like 70% of people will play good on their first playthrough. Maybe more.
I feel like a horrible person if I play the bad boy playthrough.
I don't feel that.
I choose like the angry options. Like, oh, I feel bad for this like fictional character now. I shouldn't have said that.
Do you guys reload your save files when you accidentally pick the super evil option during a good guy playthrough? Like, you just think like,
Actually,
like one of the options just like, oh man, I love your shirt, and then like your character's like, yeah, I love your shirt. It would look great on your corpse. I'm going to kill your family.
Rin, unironically, literally yes, because when I was playing Lost Magic as a kid, I did not give up the fucking Wand of Power, and I set myself down the fucking grimdark evil bad boy route. And I was like, oh fuck, better reload that.
I do that when it like fucks with my good boy points. Like in any game that has like a good evil morality system, saying a good thing will give you good boy points, saying a bad thing will give you evil nasty points. And I'll reload if it fucks with my balance enough.
The only time I can remember off the top of my head reloading a save was in The Wolf Among Us. That one fucking scene where the game says glass him, and I thought I was gonna like do cheers, and I just fucking hit him over the head. I was immediately like, what the fuck did he do that?
Fucking wonderful. I did that too. And I thought it was so like it just caught me off guard so much that I was like, fuck it. We're going with it.
Like when I saw glass him, never in a million years would I think I'm about to smash my glass
her in
over
the
his
fucking
head.
face with the glass you're holding.
I think I saw that meme before like I actually played it, and I think I still glassed him because it was funny.
Yeah.
It was.
I do want to talk about Wolf Among Us, but I want to go back to Infamous for a second.
All right.
Because Infamous is a great game with choice in it, solely for the fact that like Infamous 2 has like completely different powers on Good Boy and Bad Boy routes.
Yeah, that's true.
It feels fun to like use the weird pincer bolts, and like it actually like it doesn't feel like you're just like playing the exact same game on your second playthrough to get that trophy. I do believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe they kind of homogenized in Second Son.
So they're okay. Every Infamous game has had good and evil exclusive powers.
Yeah.
In the first game, I remember like good options. Your basic bolts would like refill your energy. and you were better at using like the sniper mode, and then like the evil one, you had like constant streams of like Sith lightning, like you could just
like
fire
area of effect and
constantly
shit.
forever.
Yeah.
And like it did alter how you played, and it was kind of cool on that. And Infamous 2, obviously, it has the ice powers and the fire, or it's napalm powers and fire. Fuck it. Although technically speaking, you can get the one you want, and still go like the opposite route, because it's one choice that determines those particular powers, I think.
Yeah.
So if you really want fire and you're good, you can technically do it. I think. It's been a long time since I mean, I know you can make that choice. I just don't know if it restricts you in any way.
Well, I know at the very least that was an option in the first game, where I believe there was the point with Zeke and the conduit, and the good guy route is to, like, I don't know, not do anything with the conduit, and then Zeke's an idiot and activates it. But you can still activate the conduit yourself if you're a good guy too. And there's, I mean, I forget the exact rewards you get from it, but it's something like a fuck ton more energy to play with, and your bolts look different.
Well, actually, I believe if you activate it and you're a good guy, you just immediately swing all the way to full bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you get the black lightning bolts when you do it, and I believe you go full evil afterwards, no matter what.
Never mind then. Well, that's interesting too, though.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I'm not entirely sure. It's been forever since I played Infamous 1. I should replay those games at some point, because they are really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then even within the story, there was one like an interesting choice that showed up in Infamous 2 was throughout the game you make good and evil choices, and there is a character that is like symbolizes good. Anytime you do good things, you're agreeing with her, and there's another character who's like evil, and anytime you do evil things, you're agreeing with her. And then right at the end, in the final choice, they swap. And the good guy wants to do the evil choice, and the bad guy wants to do the good choice. And it kind of fucks with you as a player, because you kind of want to agree with the one you've been agreeing with all game, even though it's not the option you want to go for anymore.
Well, yeah. I'm pretty sure it locks you out of it if you're not full one way or the other.
I'm not entirely sure, obviously, because
yeah.
But I think you can. I think you can just take the other option for some reason. You'll get like the other ending, which is kind of unfortunate. I'm not really the biggest fan of like only the final decision really matters, but
yeah.
And that happens a lot because game companies are lame and suck.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to like build the whole game around every decision adding up to being.
Of course, yeah. Unless it's literally all about that,
Yeah, like if it's like the easiest example would be like visual novels, where it's very easy to design the game around. Every decision you make like changes how the other characters interact with you, and then you have certain events that you can choose to do with certain characters, and it changes how they feel about you, and then you get to the end of the game.
Well, yeah, because that is literally the gameplay, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, with most games, it's like they can't make it so you pick the evil side. Well, enjoy fully 100% different content than the good side, kind of thing. It's just too much difference there.
But you know what game did a good job about that? Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh, no.
I'm so glad. I had it on my list. I was scared you'd forget it.
I forgot about Shadow.
You're really living up to your legacy, Rin.
Ah, man. So, Shadow the Hedgehog is admittedly a game that gets ragged on way too much. But what I will say is that the way to complete the game 100% is ridiculously arduous. Basically, every mission you have in the game has 3 choices. You can go good guy where you team up with whoever the good guy is for that mission. So like Sonic. You have the neutral choice where you just, most of the time, is just get to the end of the level or get some MacGuffins or whatever. I think you have the bad one, which is generally like kill everyone in the level with like.
And you team up with Flame Chaser the Hedgehog, right?
No. You generally team up with whatever the big bad is.
Okay.
The alien guy. So I think it was something like 14 different endings, but you end up going through the same missions multiple times to get to the same point at the end. Really, as long as like you're on the right side of the list, like it has like a flow chart that goes to the different endings. As long as like you hit like the 3/4 mark, you can probably get anything on the side you're on. So like the top list, as long as you did like mostly good stuff from that point onwards, you would get one of those. Or if you're on the bottom half, anything like you would get one of the dark ones. And then you complete all of these stupid endings, and then you get a final story, which is totally unconnected from the rest of the stories you went through. And that is considered the canon ending. So once again, your choices didn't really matter for anything in the end. You just made a whole lot of them.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It's 10 normal endings and then the true ending.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. And on top of it, like, redoing those stages so many times, and some of them aren't very fun. There are so... that game has so many memes tied to it because of doing that. Stuff like finding the computer room for Vector.
Well, I was thinking more of finding that damn fourth Chaos Emerald.
Finding the damn fourth Chaos Emerald. Also, like, the ending cutscenes are all over the place.
Aren't they like 15 seconds long, too?
Yeah, they're like 15 seconds long, and they range from you, like, coming to terms with yourself to, like, straight up just murdering people.
Yeah, straight edgy laughing, too.
Yeah, straight edgy laughing. Really, like, you get, like, the entire spectrum of Shadow the Hedgehog in one big mess. Yes, there are lots of choices, but they don't end up amounting to much in the end, sadly.
The only ending of Shadow the Hedgehog I remember is one where he just discovers that he is a clone, and there's like thousands of Shadow clones in cryostasis or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kage no Bushin Jutsu.
That also changes depending on the ending, though, which is really weird. Because, like, some endings, like, oh yeah, I'm just like one of all these clones. And other ones, it turns out he is just the original. And other ones, he's a fucking robot.
That's my favorite ending. He's just a robot.
There are...
weird game.
It is a strange piece.
Yes, Sonic the Hedgehog, the game where we should give our main character a assault rifle. What?
So Rin, when's the full playthrough of Shadow the Hedgehog going up on the channel?
Oh man.
I'll warm up the vocal cords and I'll do a full cover. Don't worry, gentlemen.
Oh boy.
Nice.
Maybe one day. I'm not making any commitments to this because I don't want to do all those endings. I may think the game gets a bad rap, but that doesn't mean that I think it's like a masterpiece that I want to go through 100% right at this moment.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a game I want to talk about. It's a good game of choices, but I want to talk about a specific run I did. So the game is Dragon Age Origins, which is like the only good Dragon Age game because people hate 2 and people hate Inquisition. So I played. So like the first time I played a mage. I was elf, good boy, whatever. It was basic. It was boring. It was fun. It was a good game. I like it. One of my other playthroughs. I did not finish this playthrough, but I played a character named Dwarf the Dwarf. He was a noble dwarf, and he did everything wrong. At the beginning of the game, I have sex with prostitutes immediately. I threaten a guy and kill his son in Mortal Kombat. I immediately fall for my younger brother's ploy and kill the older brother. And then when I go up to the younger brother and I'm like, hey, guess who's king now? And the younger brother's like, you just killed him. Get out. Because that was his whole plan anyway.
Rock and stone.
Everything wrong. So I got to like the first camp, and there's a guy in a cage. He's like a deserter, and there's like a whole quest line where you can convince him to give you like a key to a chest of magic stuff in exchange for letting him out. I didn't even talk to him. I just immediately killed him. There was nothing. I just immediately stabbed him in the face, and that was the end of that. The guard was like, "Why did you kill him?" I was like, "Hey, now you don't have to guard him." That was the end of it. I killed the dog immediately because it was sick and disgusting. Everything I did it wrong.
Dwarf the dwarf? No. Dwarf the beast.
It was great. I killed everyone I could. If there was an option to kill someone, I took it.
Fucking awesome.
Fucking
One
monster.
time there's a guy, he's like, he bought a bunch of stuff from people before the war, and now he's selling it back to them at increased prices. So I do the bad guy thing and tell people, hey, he's just doing normal business. Back off and leave. So they all leave. They don't get their stuff back. And then I tell the guy to leave as well. So nobody gets their stuff and nobody gets money. And everyone's fucked. I threatened the world's equivalent of the Pope. Like the leader of the church, and Alistair was super fucking angry as soon as I threatened her. I lost like 50 reputation points with him immediately. It was great. I loved that playthrough. One of the party members never joined my team because I just killed her because I was like, I walked into the mage's tower and was like, she's like, "Oh, are you here to stop the weird demonic thing so we can clear the tower?" I was like, "No, I'm just gonna let the Templars kill you all." And she's like, "Well, then I'm gonna stop you." So then I had to kill her. It was great. I did everything wrong. Everyone died.
Rock and stone.
Rock and
Yeah.
I need to redo that playthrough. I need to start the dwarf again.
Yeah, that was such a good game. I gotta go back to that.
And murder everyone.
I never played its expansion Awakening because when I finished the game, I was just like, I'm kind of done with this for now, and I don't want to continue playing right now. So I didn't do Awakening.
Yeah. The only one I played was the one with the Stone Companion. What the fuck was it called?
Oh, I forgot exactly.
You know who I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah.
That's the only one I played.
That was like an addition to the base game. Awakening is like a whole second campaign.
Oh, not just DLC. Okay, no,
Yeah,
I never played
that
it.
one wasn't just DLC. I did like most of the DLC stuff, but like that's like a whole separate game essentially with its whole new story. And I didn't do it because I was just kind of tired of the game at that point. Still a great game, and
Yeah, I gotta try that then.
yeah. You can either import your character and create a new one. It doesn't really matter, but
Ah, fuck it. I don't have my save. I'll just go back through the whole thing.
yeah, I don't know. I would probably replay the whole game. The unfortunate part about that game is that it kind of punishes you if you don't pick Mage, because Mage is just so overpowered compared to everything else.
Yeah.
The best party is 3 mages and a warrior, and that's because you can't have 4 mages. It's deeply upsetting.
I think I should give credit where it's due. Skyrim's DLC, for some reason this reminded me of that, probably because you mentioned DLC, is really good actually at exactly what I was critiquing the main campaign for. Basically,
Yeah.
at least the vampire one, which I did all of, you get completely different quest lines depending on which route you decide to take and which options you make throughout the expansion.
Yeah, that one was fucking cool.
Were you a vampire or a werewolf boy?
I think I did Werewolf by accident.
I definitely did Vampire and Dawnguard.
Yeah, I did vampire. I went through. I chose to help stop the vampire family cult thing. And it was pretty good. I quite enjoyed it. I completely forgot about it until our unnamed guest mentioned DLC just now.
All right, so we've talked about games where you make some incredible choices and fucking murder everybody. I want to talk about a game that's non-stop choices, and none of them fucking matter. I'm of course talking about The Walking Dead, the Telltale series.
or just
Yep.
any Telltale game. They're pretty much all like that.
First one is particularly egregious.
I know. I was talking about this with Brand earlier, and then I stopped because I realized we were going to talk about it here.
Yeah. Lee, I love Lee. Lee's a great character. I love his relationship with Clementine. And the dialogue can be pretty fun at points. I played through it probably 3 times. I went full good boy, and then I went full bad boy, and then I went full nothing boy. Which was every single opportunity I had, I would pick the ... option. And while some of the characters thought about me slightly differently by the end of it, Kenny in particular was particularly polarized by me. Your relationship with Clementine, like, does not change at all. And that's just because the story has to railroad you into, well, I guess spoilers, but, you know, there's a big moment at the end with Lee and Clementine that I guess, yeah, they can't really pull off unless they have a relationship.
It is a
but
10-year-old game if you don't want to pull any punches and saying what it is.
I mean, sure, whatever. Lee fucking dies, and whatever. He dies saving Clementine from some fucking weirdo. Lee, but the thing is, they still have this relationship, despite me, like, constantly trying to be an asshole to Clementine at any point I possibly could. They're like, you need to teach Clementine how to use a gun. Oh, no. No way, man. I don't want to tell Clementine how to use a gun. Hey, you should probably cut Clementine's hair so that she doesn't get fucking grabbed by zombies. Nah, man. I ain't gonna fucking do that. Clementine was the least prepared for a zombie apocalypse as she possibly could be. And she basically left that game the same way, no matter what fucking route I could have taken. And it's really sad that was the case. Oh, man. That's not even the most egregious thing. At the end of episode 4, Lee realizes that Clementine is missing. Somebody abducts her. And, like, based on, like, the decisions you've made that don't even fucking matter, because it's actually based on, like, what you choose to tell each person to convince them to come with you. It's like, okay, we're gonna go save Clementine. Come with me for this reason. And, you know, everyone is usually gung-ho, unless it's Kenny, who's a big baby bitch. And so the beginning of episode 5, basically Lee's bit, and you have to, you can choose to cut his arm off or not. It doesn't fucking matter if you cut his arm off or not. It's literally just a thing to look at for the rest of the game, because he will die at the end of episode 5 either way. But whether or not you bring people along to help him cut his arm off, it does not matter. You can literally just sit in the bottom of this fucking warehouse by yourself, cut your own arm off, wake up after, like, you know, fucking blacking out from cutting your own arm off, and then escape by yourself. It's fucking preposterous. Like, it's fucking ridiculous how much your choices do not matter by the beginning of episode 5.
Oh, no. Your choices don't matter far earlier than even that.
Oh, yeah. No, go ahead.
So it goes all the way back, even to episode 1, where your choices are just not important. So in episode 1, you can choose to save either the woman who doesn't know how batteries work, or the guy who's not a hot woman. The choice was obvious. I'll leave you to figure out. Anyway, in episode 2, so you save one. That seems like an impactful decision. One person's dead, one person's there for the rest of the game, right? Episode 2, you have, I don't know, a few bits of dialogue with the person you save, and then you go to a farm of cannibals, and that person isn't there for the entire episode. They never enter the farm.
Yep.
Because you infiltrate the farm alone or something, because they kidnapped Clementine, or I forget. And that person he's like on your side, but they don't go to the farm, so they're not in that episode. They're not important. Episode 3, they die like immediately.
Yep.
No matter what you do, they die. You cannot save them. It's an entirely pointless choice whether to say which one to save, because they actually have no impact on anything ever. It's really annoying. I hated that entire bit.
Yeah, it's the illusion of choice, but they don't actually.
The illusion of choice. I forget his name, but there was the fuck up kid. The kid who
Fuck
just
Ben.
Duck.
Ben was a piece of shit.
Or Ben. Duck or
Was it-
Ben. Probably Ben.
Ben. I don't know. He was like a teenager and he sucked.
Yeah, Ben.
It's Ben.
Okay, Ben. There is like a moment where like Ben fucks up hard, and you can choose to save him or just let him die.
Mhm.
And like I saved him. I decided to be a nice boy and save him because he's just a stupid teenager. Why not? Next episode, he dies.
Yep.
He fucks up again. He doesn't learn at all. Like in a narrative, if a character fucks up and you save them, you would think that at one point they would, I don't know, redeem themselves in some way. But no, they don't. Ben just fucks up again and dies. It's entirely pointless if you save him or not. It doesn't benefit you to save him. It doesn't benefit you not to, because he just dies ultimately.
Well, to be
In
fair, like
fact-
his fuck up in episode 4 was almost falling out of a clock tower. So,
Yeah, I mean, he's still. That doesn't change the fact that like.
but
it's
he
set to
didn't
save him.
die by falling out of a clock tower in episode 5. So he learned to be safe around the clocks.
Actually, I think he just fell off a building too.
Oh
Into a
god,
crack
he
box.
fucking did.
Yeah,
He got
it's
impaled
pretty
by a
much the
fucking
same
He
thing.
fence.
fucking fell on a fence.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he dies pretty much the same way. It's really dumb.
Yeah, it's poor writing because your choices literally don't matter. You save somebody,
Yeah.
they're gonna fucking die anyway.
Now, I
Well-
will say with The Walking Dead is that I liked it. I liked its story overall. I thought it was really good. Like you said, bad writing. I think overall the game is written well, except for when it comes to choices. Like if you just removed all the choices and had the straight story, I think I would enjoy that story.
So what I mean in terms of bad writing is the whole point of games with choices is to play through them multiple times, and it's written in a way that it only matters the first time you play, because any other time you play it, it's going to be the exact same no matter what you do.
Okay, then I do agree with you. It is poorly done choices in what I would say is a well done linear story.
And while you may think, oh, it's Telltale's first game like that, the problems from that game actually do bleed into the other Walking Dead games.
Look,
So-
I don't want to get into the Game of Thrones, but just let me tell you, it's
Sure.
worse than The Walking Dead.
Okay.
It's literally the worst game they made.
I'll just say a quick thing. Basically, on Lee's mission to save Clementine in episode 5, everyone gets split up. Ben fucking dies. Kenny disappears. The other two, I don't know, they fuck off somewhere. Episode 2, by season 2, episode 2, Kenny comes back. And, he's got this, him and Clementine have this weird relationship where it's like, yeah, we've been through some shit together. And by the end of episode 5 of season 2, Kenny is like fighting this chick, and they both have their opinions on, how the fuck Clementine should survive through this apocalypse. And you can choose to side with Kenny and kill this other person, or side with this other person and kill Kenny. But going into episode 3, if you do pick the I'm going with Kenny option, which is a rather nice ending. It's a rather nice dovetail
Do you mean
to
going into season 3.
Yes. Sorry. Going into season 3, if you save Kenny, if you are leaving with Kenny, it is shown in a flashback that Kenny, while teaching Clementine how to drive, just died in a random. She crashed into a fucking tree randomly, and he didn't have his seatbelt on, and he fucking dies.
Jesus.
Oh man.
After surviving through so much shit, he dies in a dumbass beginning of the game flashback because, guys, we don't want to have one extra character around. We can't do that after so many fucking successful games. We don't want to program having possibly multiple characters around. It just like by that point it just felt so fucking lazy, man.
I always hate when a main character dies in some kind of fucking flashback or like
Yeah.
a cutscene. It's so stupid.
Yeah. And I like that was the moment where I'm like, okay, fuck this series. Like I don't like I was already like I already lost it midway through season 2, and then I saw that in season 3, and I'm like, fuck this whole series. Like I'm done.
Yeah.
I can't play Telltale games anymore.
If you view that as just like a TV show, it would be like season 2 ends, season 3 begins, and the very start of the episode is just, oh yeah, this main character, they died over the summer break.
Yeah.
I can't believe that happened.
Oh my god.
So that does happen. I mean, usually
Now that is some fucking shit ass writing.
That normally happens because, I don't know, the actor pulled out or something and they needed to can the character essentially.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that I can at least understand. In the video game sense, it's just laziness for the most part.
Yeah.
Didn't want to hire the voice actor for too much longer.
Even if Kenny's voice actor didn't come back, you could hire another voice actor that sounds similar to Kenny. It's not like
Yeah.
it wouldn't be that hard. Yeah, no, in terms of Telltale games, I generally have enjoyed the stories, but the choices never matter, and it's kind of sad. Like, I really liked Tales from the Borderlands, and for the most part, your choices only matter in who you select to join you in the endgame battle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I mean, the endgame battle is cool, and I like the different animations that the characters get. So I mean, it's better than most, but for the most part, your choices are not really that important to the grand plot.
I honestly think, ironically, my favorite Telltale games are the ones that don't have choices, because I love Sam and Max, but I played the first season of Walking Dead, and I never really played any of the others.
Correction. You played the first season of Walking Dead on the fucking PlayStation Vita.
Yeah!
Oh man, the fucking frame rate.
Yeah, I played it on the Vita.
Dude, don't you just love when you have a quick time event and a zombie's attacking you, but because the Vita lags, you can't actually touch anything and you fucking die? That was great.
I did want to play Wolf Among Us at some point.
It's good.
You should.
Can
I
confirm.
think
Yeah, I've heard it's
that-
probably one of the best of the Telltale games.
I am so glad that's getting a fucking sequel. I did not, in my fucking wildest dreams, think that would be the one that they would put a fucking cap on.
Yeah, and then like they closed and it got canceled, but now it's coming back, so that's that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, would we consider a strategy game a game with choices?
I chose to nuke Gandhi before he could.
That's
do
what
the
I
same
was
to me.
thinking. A game like Civilization 5, where every turn you have to make decisions on the future of your own survival, or how you're going to go about getting to a victory, or what resources you're going to put into. Similar, like Civ 5 is a good example. Another example would be something like an FTL, where you're picking your crew members and stuff, and what upgrades you're going to get.
I mean, you could obviously every video game has a ton of choices. I wouldn't necessarily include the strategy games too much in this, mostly because it's literally going back to that joke you made at the beginning.
I was actually going to say that, yeah.
In Mario, you can choose to stand still and let the Goomba kill you. You can choose to do that. Is it a game with choices? Not really. It's a game about platforming. And that game, yeah, it's a game about making decisions that influence your
the rest of your run, or the rest of your game.
Your rest of your run, your game, your civilization, your conquest, whatever. But they're not the same like choices I guess we've been talking about throughout. Mostly we've been talking about narrative choices for them. But yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I mean, unless you really want to talk about some strategy games, go ahead.
I will allow it if you really want to talk about some strategy games.
I kind of just wanted to bring up the idea of strategy games being games of choices, because technically they are, but technically they also aren't. How about this one? How about the Stanley Parable?
That game had a lot of choices, yes.
Yeah.
I still
great example.
haven't played it. I fucking been meaning to.
It is. I really enjoyed it. It is pretty much just narrative choices the video game when you break it down.
Yeah. No, it's a funny little game that like you can play maybe like 5 endings in an afternoon and feel pretty happy with it. You don't have to get all the endings. Some of them are, especially that one with the baby. I'm not doing that.
So many hours.
God, what
God, there's like an achievement for the Stanley Parable where like you have to wait 5 years in between the last time you played. And
Yeah, it's just called Go Outside.
yeah.
But when was that game released?
More than 5 years ago
yeah, I
now.
was just
Some
about
people
to
do
say a
have.
long time ago.
Some people do
Yeah.
have the achievement.
Yeah, I could probably go get it right now.
I think I ran a little bit short on mine because I reopened it. I'm like, I'm gonna get the achievement, and I didn't get it.
Ah,
So now I gotta wait another like 4 years.
Just cheat.
Oh,
Pretty sure you could get that day one just by setting your clock forward 5 years.
probably pretty easily.
but then you're playing the game wrong.
But it's
No.
your choice.
Yeah, it's my choice.
Bruh.
Achievement hunting isn't about doing it right, it's about getting that shiny achievement.
Fucking efficiency.
If I can do 5 years worth of work in 1 minute, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, no, Stanley Parable is good for that. It's a really funny game. I enjoyed a lot of it. And it starts with the simple choice of going left or right.
Oh, it
And-
starts even before that. You can choose just to stay in the office.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Well, most people won't even think of that, right?
Yeah, that's true.
The first choice most people are generally presented with is the left or right, because the game hasn't even told you at this point that there are choices.
Yeah.
But yeah, that game gets trippy and is definitely worth playing. It's free. I definitely didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed it. It is very fun. And definitely actually does tie pretty good to games of choices.
Is it free?
I think it is, or it like goes on sale really cheap.
I feel like I've gotten it with a Humble Bundle or something.
Well, because
but
there's 2 versions, right? There's the original and then the HD.
Oh, I have no idea.
I might have.
The HD
you know,
might not be free.
I might have gotten a Humble Bundle too if I.
Yeah,
if-
true.
That might be why I don't remember paying for it.
Stanley Parable is $17.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I definitely did not pay $17 for it.
I definitely did
I-
not pay $17.
Well, don't
I
forget,
specifically
that's when
remember-
the Canadian dollar was far more powerful because it was 2013.
Regardless.
I specifically remember a time when somebody told me that the demo for the Stanley Parable was an entirely different experience than the actual game. Just as a way to make you have interest in the actual game. So I would imagine the demo and the actual game aren't both free.
Have you
Yeah.
feel when you pay for a demo?
There was also Ground Zeroes.
Oh yeah, that was just a demo that you could buy.
Ground Zeroes was worth it though.
Ground Zeroes was more polished than the Phantom Pain.
I think at $30 it was a big ask, but if you could get it for like $20 or less, it was definitely worth the price.
I got it from PlayStation Plus.
Ditto.
That's nice.
I think that that was fun as fuck. Also full of choices. Wah, wah.
Actually, yeah, gameplay choices.
Yeah, tons of ways you could complete the mission.
Time to shoot Chico.
Yeah, actually, thinking about the strategy thing, like a choice in a strategy game would maybe be more like if there were 2 objectives that you could do.
Yeah.
Like in Civ, you can go for the conquest, or you could go for the diplomatic or the science victory or whatever.
Mhm.
Like those are like the choices I'm thinking of when I'm talking about this.
Yeah, and then like those choices can change pretty quickly. Where
Yeah,
do you
sure.
realize someone else is going to get the science victory unless you pivot over to just destroying them?
It's a good thing
Playing-
I
playing
decided to spread the religion of anime.
How could you? A
It's a
plague.
good. It's a good thing that whenever I play Sliv with you whenever I play Sliv,
Civilization.
civilization, you assholes keep taking my land.
What's this about Rin's land?
That was a funny. No, that's definitely a choice. The choice to completely box Rin in and steal all of his land, so he can't expand at all.
Oh, you're going to expand to these tiles next turn? Well, not anymore.
You know, guys, I'm a huge fan of when we all play Faking It. We all unanimously make the choice to vote out Rin as the faker immediately. My favorite choice to make every single time.
No, Rin's a good deception master. It's a good choice.
No, the issue is that I've rused you guys a few too many times, and I just always think I'm lying. Guys, I'm.
When in
Let's
doubt.
play Among Us.
When in
Well,
doubt.
I get away with lying quite well in all of these games.
Time to self-report and blame it on Rin.
Dude,
Uh,
okay. There have been so many times where someone just realized they could just blame me and get away with it.
It's true, though. It's
I-
like, it's true, though.
I have made the bad choice before, and then like completely not noticed that I'm throwing someone else under the bus.
Yeah, you have.
It's like, hey, how about like, oh, I definitely saw Kaz. Under the bus he goes. Everyone votes for Kaz. The game is
Fucking
lost.
idiot. Fucking idiot.
To be fair, I'm not really good at deception, and I'm not good at spotting deception. It's not a personal choice. It's just a matter of fact.
I think
I
the
see.
issue with you and deceiving people is that you start to laugh
Yeah, I do.
Like, immediately.
immediately, or like you make a really stupid face when you say it that just like immediately sells. I am 100% certifiably full of shit.
Well, you're not wrong.
Okay. Anyway, games with choices. Sliv
Is
go.
that what we were talking about?
Yeah. Sliv go. It's your turn.
It's my turn. Everything that
Yeah.
I was gonna bring up was brought up.
Oh,
Infamous Telltale games, stuff like that.
I am surprised we've gotten this far without just addressing the meme-tastic elephant in the room of Undertale.
Just because I've
Alright, so moving
fucking
on.
addressed it like every single goddamn podcast.
That's
My
true.
guy.
That is true.
It is true, but it is a game with choices, and it is
kill
a
or
game
not
where
to kill?
choices have consequences. Yeah, just
Uh.
have consequences.
I want to fuck the skeleton, damn it. I want to
Which
take
one?
him to the bone zone.
Which one?
I am so glad we're
The
talking
virus.
about this instead of the actual shit about Undertale.
The actual choices you can make,
No,
instead we're
Sliv,
choosing degeneracy.
tell us about the skeleton. Why do you want to fuck the skeleton?
Why have you chosen this?
Well, he likes spaghetti. Like, what else is there? Spaghetti's great.
Sliv's top five must-haves for a partner. 1, like spaghetti. 2,
2,
makes
doesn't have
spaghetti.
skin.
3 has access to spaghetti.
Yeah.
4, is aware of spaghetti. And 5, knows how to make spaghetti.
Wait, you already said that.
It's
Yeah,
really
you know how to
important.
make it really well, though.
I would have put 5 as willing to share his spaghetti.
Not 5, doesn't have skin.
He's a skeleton, though. As soon as he eats it, it's just going to come out, and then he can eat it anyway.
Truly, I would definitely want.
But it's already true.
Have you guys never seen the Casper movie?
I'm so glad we've all decided the choice tonight to be fucking degenerates. Yeah,
Oh, that's
Undertale
everything.
has choices. They matter a lot. Yay.
Yeah. No, that's a good because in the entire game you're making choices because everything is going to affect what ending you're going to get. If you kill one person, you're not going to get true pacifist.
Hmm.
Okay, sorry, you can kill one person, but it's a specific one person. So like throughout the game, it's every combat encounter. It's do you want to spare them or do you want XP in order to, and that'll affect the story. There's doing the optional hangouts which are relevant, and then there's the whole genocide route. We all know Undertale. We've mentioned it in a few podcasts, so that's pretty much all I have to say.
Yeah, there's not much to mention beyond that. Is that you get a lot of choices in that regard.
The only person you're allowed to kill, no matter what, is so sorry.
Yes, that's what I was referring to. Thank you for clearing that up.
And I feel sorry for Toby for having to put so sorry into the game. Because that was a mistake.
He did it in a funny way, it's alright.
Anyway.
Does anyone want to elaborate on that? Like, I forget the story of So Sorry.
I don't super want to elaborate in the podcast.
Okay.
I'll
cut
put a
this
link
then.
in the description.
I don't want to elaborate in the podcast. Let's put a link to it in the description.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
fuck
send
it.
you a link to the So Sorry page on the undertalefandom.com.usb.infrag. I'm cutting
Anyway.
that.
Hey, isn't it interesting that after Toby made his game all about choice, that his next game has, like, no choice at all?
I don't believe that. I don't believe that it's going to actually have no choice. I think it's a weird double ruse where he tells us there's choices and then tells us there isn't choices, but there actually is choices. They're just not the ones we were expecting.
Okay. Possible.
Yeah, I kind of agree with the idea that it's gonna be kind of a,
And we're talking about Deltarune proper here.
Deltarune.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just figured, from his perspective, making it episodic, he would just want to sort of homogenize the story.
Not really
But then again,
sure.
I'm just saying that because I've fucking expected it from shit like Telltale. I guess I really shouldn't expect that from Toby.
I'm not really sure how episodic it's going to be, because he's, as far as he has stated, he's actually done like a lot of the episodes basically. So I'm not sure if he's gonna release it in like one big batch and it has like the episodes are just acts essentially, or if he actually is just gonna release it episodically. I have no idea. We'll see. It's gonna be a while. I have no idea how far he is on that. I have not looked into it at all.
I know he had some like health complications with his hands or something that were causing problems.
Yeah,
Which
I do
is a
remember
shame.
that.
So hopefully he can kind of fight through that and put out some amazing stuff because Undertale's really good.
Yeah, for sure. So who's got the next one, if any?
So I have a game that I can talk about, but I can't really go in and like any kind of depth about it because it's been so long since I've played it. I just know that there are a lot of choices in it.
Okay.
Go in.
So, have any of you guys played Alpha Protocol?
I've heard of it.
I've heard of it.
Constantly heard of it.
That is the spy one, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a James Bond meets Jason Bourne like RPG.
Yeah.
So
I
I
know it.
can't give specific examples about choices and how they like specifically affect things because again, like I played it right when it came out. But what I do remember is whereas in most games you just make a choice and it's like A, B, C, and then they have like a specific outcome. In that game, so there's like multiple sort of like locations, right? Like multiple missions, and you can choose in what order you want to do them. So what order you do the missions, and then at what point in the missions you decide to make a certain decision and how long it actually takes you or how quickly it takes you to select your decision can all affect how things happen in the game.
That's cool.
Damn.
Yeah, it's hard to exactly describe it, but yeah, it's a really complicated way that they handled it. But it actually has gameplay effects. Like I remember one level I remember, depending on what order you do it in and a choice you make, you can either have to infiltrate a building and there's lots of guards that will fuck you up, or you can go in and there's basically no one there, and it completely changes how that level actually goes about and like the whole outcome of it. It's a shame that the game had so many technical problems, because I would tell you guys to go back and play it, but if you want to play it on PC, don't bother.
True.
PC gaming.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, like the mouse control in that game was atrocious. If you guys have like a 360 or PS3, you should maybe give it a try on that, because it is really, really good.
I was gonna say, when I was looking up for games that people were talking about, immediately a lot of people brought up Alpha Protocol. So
yeah, the way the decisions work is really unique, because not many games actually have choices that impact the game in such a like noticeable way. And there's like, I remember when it comes to the ending, there were like a few really generic endings, but depending on what you do, there could be like some really wild variations in what can happen. Yeah, you should give it a try. It's really good.
Yeah. Too bad about the PC thing. What else is on though?
It was on 360, PS3, and PC.
Yeah.
So what you're
It's
saying
kind
is
of obnoxious to go back to it then.
we gotta download it off the PSN store before it goes tits up.
Well, yeah, that's assuming that it'll actually let you download it, but yeah.
Wah, wah.
Weird.
Here's one. I'm going to bring up one that I'm going to immediately hand over to Kaz, because he has way more experience with this than I do, and that I don't really have any. How about Spec Ops: The Line? I've seen it pop up on a lot of these lists.
Oh,
And I know you have a great appreciation for that game.
Oh, dude, I didn't even bring up that game, but yeah, that's a fucking great game.
true.
Sorry, I do have so Spec Ops: The Line. I've heard about it. I've never played it. Does it have choices?
Not really.
At least not in the way you would expect.
The idea of choice and like the repercussions of choice is incredibly, like it's a very consistent theme in Spec Ops, because one of the first things that happens is your team of dipshit generic shooter boys blows up a town who they think is just occupied by the enemy, but it's actually occupied by like fuck tons of civilians, and your team needs to like compartmentalize and just like deal with the consequences of their choice. It's not, it wasn't necessarily like I made this choice as a player. It's like, this is a shitty thing that happens in the story that you need to do in order to continue the story.
So I just want to clarify one thing.
Sure.
So it's not a town. You're in like a big firefight with
Right.
the enemy, and you're using like a cannon that shoots white phosphorus up in the air, and then it comes down and burns everything. And in the battlefield, in the it's like a infrared camera, you can see this one like little area where there's a bunch of people, and it's actually like civilians that are huddled up in this little like room.
Yeah, and you assume it's a fuck ton of soldiers, yeah.
Yeah, you burn them alive. And that's a huge spoiler for the game, but if you haven't played it, you should still fucking play it.
So there is an alternate ending.
There's actually 3. Yeah.
Okay, there's 3, sure. So, I don't believe the actual decisions you make throughout the game actually impact them. As far as I remember, they all sort of come at the end. And they're pretty cut and dry and like easy to figure out like how to get each. But still that game still has like a lasting fucking impact on my mind. Just because it was just so fucking well written. Like it's
I think one of the reasons why is because even though technically none of your decisions actually matter. The reason that you find out for why those decisions don't matter is really fucking good.
Yeah.
It's like a big twist, and that's like the main thing. So there's a
Yeah,
reason
yeah.
that they don't matter. It's part of the story.
So, haha, I have not spoiled the big twist. The white phosphorus thing actually happens relatively early in the game.
Yeah, it's like right near the beginning.
And there's some really cool shit. So, haha, go play Spec Ops: The Line. But is it a really choice-driven game? Not really, but it's a special game in its own. It's important choices in a different kind of way, and that's neat too. Yeah.
And it regularly goes on sale on Steam, so yeah, you should pick it up if you see it.
And if there was one actual like complaint I would have about the game, it is the gameplay. For the most part, it is pretty by the numbers military third-person shooter action. It starts that way, and I'm like, okay, like we're a bunch of, hoorah, fucking Semper Fidelis, fucking kill them with our big guns, army boys. Like, I'm waiting for the flip, and then the flip happens, and then it's like, it's still the same kill fucking armies of dudes and like order your squad to do different things. Like it's pretty consistent throughout the game, unfortunately, but it's that story that's actually interesting. That's actually like kind of grips you.
The only real like gameplay sort of thing that stands out compared to like generic shooters is the use of sand, because it takes place in Dubai after like a major sandstorm.
Sure.
Other than that, it's pretty generic. Even the sand, like it doesn't make a huge difference.
It's a neat setting, but yeah, I will have to criticize it on that front. But yeah, again, story's cool. Yeah.
So anyway, thank you, Ren, for bringing up a game without choices.
Yeah, I should have gone with my number 2, Mosaic Neko Waifus 4.
All right, so what's your number 3?
Hold on, it was under the Steam Games with Choices tab.
Okay.
I'm not actually going to the No, I'm not. I don't own this game. I guess there must be some sort of choice in
Not
it.
yet. Check your notifications.
You son of a bitch, you didn't. Oh, he didn't. Thank God.
Of course I didn't. Why would I spend money on you?
Spend money on you in like the 20 seconds after you fucking mentioned it.
I already brought it up with him before the podcast. Because I was looking for gameplay choices. I guess number 3 I could bring up is Deus Ex, but I haven't actually played them beyond knowing that the original Deus Ex is a perfect example of the dangers of choosing to smoke 10 packs of cigarettes.
Yeah.
I've only played Human Revolution, which is really good, and actually does have a decent variety of choices. Unfortunately, right at the end there is a which ending do you want button, which is annoying, and I dislike that part of it. But like, there's a lot of dialogue trees. There's a lot of like gameplay choices. You can approach situations in a lot of ways. And that's like the whole point of the game, is that there's like a million different ways you can get through each section. At one point, you got to get into a morgue that's at like the bottom of the police station. You could take a gun and kill all the police officers and go to the bottom. It's a terrible idea, but you could technically do that.
Man,
you can talk your way in. It's
or like
good.
getting into the Hive Club. There's like 20 different ways to do that.
Yeah.
I tried to play the original Deus Ex recently, and I know that people say it's a masterpiece. It is one of those games that if you didn't, in my opinion, if you did not play it when it was current and really, really ahead of its time, it just is not easy to get into.
I was gonna say that, yeah. If you didn't play it when it came out, it's extremely difficult to go back without that nostalgia for it.
Yeah, because there's like, even with fixes, I just cannot get into the original Deus Ex, which is really a shame.
Well, that's the problem with playing any old masterpiece, basically, is that you can understand everything that's good about it, but like, there's still modern gameplay improvements that are hard to live without after you've used them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gotta say, one of the only like old games that I can go back to and have no issues is something like Duke Nukem 3D or like Doom 2 or Wolfenstein 3D.
Yeah, in general, it's games which experiences can't be replicated, and maybe that'll be a podcast topic at some point. Because there are some games where you just can't replicate it, and there's games like Deus Ex where there have been sequels since then, and while to my understanding the original is still the best for making independent decisions and everything, and those choices having impact throughout the game, it is a bit of a slog to get into, and I admittedly just couldn't. It's really a shame.
Truly. But that's your choice.
That is my choice.
I am so fucking done with this joke. All right, let's get to the next fucking game.
You choosing to go to the next game?
Shut up.
Literally every single fucking person has made this joke at least once in this podcast.
And it just keeps getting funnier.
I want to die. Bang. Choice made.
I've been sitting here trying to rack my brains about how I can bring up Dark Souls again on the podcast.
Fuck you.
And the only thing I can think of is it does have multiple endings, but they're really not that important.
Hey, nameless man, I'm Slib, and I need to go fight Vort. How about I turn around and go into this church? Wait, there's an old
That's not a
lady
choice.
here.
You have to kill her anyway.
Can I kill this old woman? It's like, well,
You can always kill the old woman.
You could, and whoopsie doopsie, before my first boss, I guess I started a late game boss.
Get fucked.
Try
Ren, what's
rolling. Rolls off the cliff.
I already kind of touched on what I was going to talk about anyway at another point, so I think we're good.
Well, it's been fun. It's been a blast. And I'm making the choice to end this fucking podcast.
Yeah!
So, as always, my name's Sliv, and with me is Rin,
See y'all later.
Kaz, Darius.
This ending fucking sucks. None of my decisions mattered, and all of it homogenized at the end. Fuck this shit.
The Pork Chopper,
See ya.
and the Nameless Man.
I clocked in about 2 hours of pay before edits, and I still get paid for that.
Nice. Now, if you could make a choice, you could choose to follow us on Twitter at THNDRCLUB, or you could choose to watch us on Twitch whenever we stream at twitch.tv/Thunderclub.
You can say whenever we choose to stream.
Thanks
And before
for
you choose to end this podcast, remember to, subscribe and all that shit.
Yeah, I'm finna choose to throw the goddamn toaster into the bathtub I'm currently sitting in real quick.
And I will choose to join you.
And I'd like to thank you for choosing Thunderclub. See you later.